Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. BRICS will discuss the use of local currencies at August summit. Now, we've been getting conflicting reports on this. Is BRICS going to talk about a BRICS dollar, perhaps a new world reserve currency? The other day we got some news saying that no, there's no news suggesting that they are going to be talking about some kind of BRICS currency. But we've also been getting news here, this one courtesy of Ian Binns here on Twitter, from BRICS to discuss accelerated use of local currencies at the summit. So not a new reserve currency necessarily, but local currencies. And guys, when are they going to use? Well, obviously DLT technology to be able to transact in these local currencies. So the BRICS group of emerging market nations will discuss deepening the use of local currencies in trade between member states at the summit in South Africa next week. The nation's ambassador said to the bloc, the talks will focus on issues including the establishment of common payment systems. So common payment systems, obviously the ISO 20022 standard is going to likely play a critical role in this. Well, a technical committee is likely to be formed to start considering a potential joint currency, Anil Suklal said in an interview for Bloomberg's Johannesburg office on Monday. So a potential currency, a joint currency, guys. Could this be the BRICS dollar? Well, it sounds as though it is. There are no plans to discuss replacing the US dollar as the world's de facto global currency, he said at the conference, but they are saying that a potential joint currency could be used. And you just got to put two and two together. They're mincing words here, okay? Not going to displace the US dollar. So that was the news originally. Now I'm remembering, okay? They're saying that they're not going to, there's no de-dollarization talk there. However, there is talk of them using a new potential currency for transacting. And if it so happens that that coin or that currency does replace the US dollar, well, then we didn't really lie about it. But, the way it's going, it looks as though it's going to eventually. So here's a quote: trading in local currencies is firmly on the agenda. There's no agenda item of de-dollarization on the BRICS agenda. BRICS is not calling for de-dollarization. So they're making it very clear we are not going to talk about anything that has to do with de-dollarization. Because that would be, financial threat, a financial war threat, I guess, on the U.S. economy and the United States in general. The dollar will continue to be a major global currency. That's a reality. So that is the official statement here. However, we know behind the scenes what's going on. We know all these countries, some of them have experienced the U.S. putting sanctions on them. These guys just don't want to use the U.S. dollar. So why are they trying to hide it? Why are they trying to sugarcoat it? Probably to avoid some major repercussions from the United States and from other Western nations, perhaps. Of course, guys, I'm just speculating on this, but it does, sound, when you're reading these words, it does make sense. It makes a lot of sense why they would word it this way. So the BRICS members, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are striving to conduct more trade between themselves in their own currencies as part of an effort to gain more global influence and counterbalance the dominance of the U.S. Well, right there. If they do use their own currencies, they want to counterbalance the dominance of the US, well, that's going to eventually lead for de-dollarization, even if that isn't their main objective. So again, it's the way they're writing things, and I think it's kind of a bit misleading. But anyway, wanted to thank Ian Binns for posting that. Also happen to see this: BRICS creating a new currency to replace the US dollar is laughable. So again, just on that topic, somebody coming out and saying, oh, we're not going to create a new BRICS currency to specifically displace the US dollar. However, if it happens, well, that's just life. So the bloc is making contradictory statements about the information, the BRICS currency, on the heels of the upcoming summit. While a few officials say that the summit will discuss using local currencies for trade, others hint that a currency formation could be in the cards. However, Jim O'Neill, the veteran economist who named the group a decade ago, told the Financial Times that the idea of launching a new currency to take on the US dollar is ridiculous. So he has come out and said, that's just ridiculous. He said, even a quote, "It's just ridiculous." Literally the quote there. They're going to create a BRICS central bank, ? How would you do that? It's embarrassing almost. So he's come out and said that probably to, quell the fears of Americans. The Economist, who previously worked for Goldman Sachs, said the BRICS has not achieved any groundbreaking policy since its formation. According to him, the push towards de-dollarization could fail as it would have no support in global markets. Well, with the use of DLT technology, you're not going to even need the US dollar anymore. So, they're leaving out a lot of information here that I think us in the crypto community already know about. A lot of this doesn't make sense because we know too much about DLT technology, the technology behind Ripple, and more importantly, a token that was built for transforming the financial system that was built to provide liquidity for payments. And guys, if you didn't catch my video this morning, $33 trillion in just 2 types of markets for payments. Those are already tied to Ripple partners. So interesting. If you guys didn't see that, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. Moving along, guys, this one from BondCrypt here on Twitter. So along those lines, and I think Zimbabwe has in fact applied to be a BRICS member. Zimbabwe Central Bank close to introducing gold-backed digital tokens into retail. So they're not messing around, guys. Physical and digital gold tokens have been a big success as investments and inflation hedge in Zimbabwe, which continues to face triple-digit inflation. And Zimbabwe has been one of those countries that has been just ravaged by inflation. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe expects to launch its gold-backed digital token for retail use soon, the RBZ has stated. This follows the token's success with investors, which the bank describes as commendable in a recent report. The RBZ announced the introduction of the GBDT in April and has conducted 11 issuance representing 325 kilograms or 716.5 pounds of gold by July 21st, according to a midterm financial report by the bank released on August 9th. The tokens are backed by physical gold held by the RBZ, and that is the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. And guys, this is a quote. The bank is at an advanced stage in preparations for the rollout of the GBDTs for transactional purposes in phase 2 of the project. It is envisioned that the transactional phase will see GBDTs complementing the demand for the US dollar in domestic transactions, as retailers will be offered a safer, more convenient, and value-preserving medium of exchange. So again, saying, complementing rather the US dollar for domestic transactions. However, you guys can use our brand spanking new shiny gold-backed digital token for transactions, and that will ensure you that it is actually backed by something. So you can feel confident. You don't have to use the US dollar, etc., etc., etc. So by no means are they saying we're going to replace the US dollar, and they're trudging ahead and making all these claims. However, their actions in this case, I think, are going to be speaking louder than words, especially moving into the next decade. We'll see how the back half of the 2020s play out. But guys, this is just a step towards de-dollarization, if you ask me. John Kiff here even commenting, today's FinTech Digest includes the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe preparing to roll out its gold-backed digital tokens for transactions. So, it's just another nail in the coffin of the US dollar. It's not to say that the US dollar is going bye-bye soon, but let's just wait and see, guys. This is going to be a long, slow death, I have a feeling. Anyway, so we got BRICS, we got Zimbabwe. What else do we have here, guys? Positive news from Ledger. And if you guys don't have a Ledger Nano, I do have an affiliate link in the description. It is the cold wallet storage solution that I personally use and have been using since 2017. I've never had a problem with them. I've been very happy with Ledger. So again, I do have an affiliate link in the description. You can use it if you want. You don't have to use it. One of the things that they just announced recently was this, guys, that they are working with PayPal. Yes, PayPal, to allow users to purchase Bitcoin, Ethereum, BCH, so Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, using their PayPal balance for eligible banks or debit cards. And this is available in the US only right now. Cryptic Poet here also posting this article with regards to the Ledger story. They did announce this, guys, and this is going to be a game changer. I've always thought to myself, boy, I'd love to just be able to buy crypto with my PayPal balance. And yeah, now PayPal has announced new features in the US. But guys, this integrates specifically with your Ledger wallet. So hardware wallet manufacturer Ledger has integrated its Ledger Live software with PayPal now. And this statement just came out yesterday. The integration allows US residents to verify PayPal accounts to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin directly through Ledger Live with no extra verification. Ledger Live previously allowed users to buy crypto through partners MoonPay and some other ones here. PayPal is just the newest. When a user purchases crypto through PayPal via Ledger Live, it is immediately sent to the user's wallet, and no withdrawal process needs to be initiated by the user, the announcement stated. Ledger chairman and CEO Pascal Gauthier claimed that combining Ledger Live with PayPal will make crypto transactions simpler, while also not compromising on security. And guys, here's what he said. We're combining the uncompromising security of Ledger with PayPal's leadership in protected payment technology to help facilitate a seamless platform for user crypto transactions. Ledger is committed to making the movement of money as simple, reliable, and affordable as possible. So guys, some really big news here from Ledger. And again, I do recommend, even if you don't want to use my affiliate link, and even if you do not want to use the Ledger, that's fine. Please just keep your cryptocurrency safe because on these exchanges, you just don't know. They are getting better, but I know, and since the beginning, I've always maintained I do not trust anyone else but me with custody of my crypto. So I'm only keeping crypto on the exchange once I'm ready to trade it. For my patrons, I do have $10,000 on the BITRUE exchange that I'm actively talking about. So that is really the only cryptocurrency that I have right now on the exchange. All my other crypto is locked away in a Ledger Nano. So just thought I'd bring that to you guys. Wanted to thank Cryptic Poet here for posting that. Jack the Rippler found this, guys. XRP now accepted as a method of payment across hundreds of stores worldwide. And guys, this is going through BitPay. This development allows BitPay users to spend XRP at hundreds of merchants worldwide, while also enabling the swapping and storage of XRP on BitPay wallets. So big news here, BitPay, one of the oldest crypto payment service providers, is among the latest to support XRP. The US-based company recently took to Twitter to remind users of its all-around support for XRP. While this evoked several reactions, it bears mentioning that BitPay announced worldwide support for XRP on August the 4th. The development comes shortly after XRP received regulatory clarity from Judge Annalisa Torres' ruling in the Ripple SEC case. And guys, this is how BitPay commented here. BitPay released worldwide support for XRP, allowing BitPay users across the world to buy, store, swap, and spend XRP across all BitPay solutions. So we've got that news. They're saying they're also allowing merchants merchants can accept XRP payments from over 100 wallets. Guys, this is going to open up more avenues for payments utilizing XRP. And I think, once XRP gets more popular worldwide, people will want to transact in it more too, kind of like how they're, kind of like how we see Bitcoin as the big cryptocurrency. The optics surrounding Bitcoin, obviously, it's got name recognition. Most people don't know when most non-crypto people hear about crypto, all they can tell you about is Bitcoin. But guys, I think this is going to change. And because XRP now has clarity in the US, we can see these types of transactions perhaps evolving over the coming year into 2024 and probably into 2025. So great news here. Wanted to thank Jack the Rippler for posting that. Also happened to see this, guys, from Ripple partner TerraPay. So Ripple partner TerraPay, their group has expanded business operations in Italy and sets its sights on the European Union specifically. TerraPay, they just announced that they have secured authorization as an electronic money institute in Italy. Having obtained approval from the Bank of Italy, TerraPay is set to expand its operations within the country and subsequently throughout the European Union. So now they're seen as an electronic money institution legally in Italy specifically, and moving towards the European Union. This holds great significance not only for TerraPay, but also for the thriving Italian fintech sector, marking a notable step towards their respective trajectories. Leveraging its extensive expertise and innovative approach in the digital payment sector, TerraPay aims to positively impact and contribute to the European markets. And here's a quote, guys. The commitment of the TerraPay team, supported by the international firm Oric, was crucial in reaching this historic milestone, said Amar Sur, founder and CEO of TerraPay. We are excited about what the future holds for us in Italy, and we will continue to work towards providing innovative and secure digital financial services. And this is going to be huge for Ripple partner TerraPay. This is establishing this particular company as a trailblazer, as this article states here, in the realm of electronic money within Italy. So we're going to see, I think, a lot more of these types of companies, these Ripple partnered companies, making bigger moves, broader moves in their national markets. And of course, this is going to expand XRP utility eventually once we see those flows really ramp up. So TerraPay has established itself as a global partner to leading banks, money transfer operators, mobile wallet operators, and financial institutions to facilitate digital transactions without borders. As a B2B company, TerraPay partners with other businesses that helps them leverage its agile, secure, and scalable technology platform to enhance their customer proposition for remittances, payments, and cross-border spending. And guys, they are regulated in 28 countries globally. And I have a feeling that this is just the beginning for Ripple partner TerraPay. So great news there for them. And considering day by day, we're looking at the crypto markets, we're looking at regular markets, the DJI, for example, here. Let me bring up the Dow Jones. And, the other day I was giving you this doom and gloom scenario of what if we see the Dow Jones just collapse down to multi-year lows. We're looking for it to hit this all-time high, and I'm really wondering what's going to happen if it does, in fact, hit this. Now, over the last couple of days, we have been seeing the Dow go down, and that is also being reflected in the crypto markets. An unprecedented situation is happening right now. And guys, I had to bring this up. Another one from BondCrypt here on Twitter. The Fed is divided on interest rates as meeting approaches. So the Federal Reserve, obviously, is playing a key role in how the economy is going to transform in the near term, for Americans, and that definitely has an impact around the world too. The Bank of Canada, for example, generally takes its cues from the Fed, so Federal Reserve officials are set to meet next month to decide whether to raise interest rates for the 12th time in order to cool down the economy or to maintain them at their current level. The central bank appears to be divided on this matter, with some officials believing that the Fed has already increased its benchmark lending rate enough to address inflation. So basically what this is telling us is we've got two sides of the coin here. Keep them as they are or keep raising them. The division within the Fed became evident in the minutes of the June meeting, with certain members initially opposing a pause and opting to continue raising rates. Eventually, they changed their stance, anticipating a hike in July. Indeed, Fed officials unanimously voted to raise rates by a quarter point to a range of 5.25 to 5.5%, the highest level in 22 years. And Federal Chair Jerome Powell also maintained a hawkish tone in his post-meeting news conference, signaling that another increase is likely. So that's what Jerome Powell is saying, another increase. Some are saying, we could increase and then plateau. We could taper off before we start going down. But guys, really, we have been in a situation where there has been historically low rates for over a decade. And, 5% is fairly normal. Now, what's this going to mean for a generation of, let's say, millennials? Because really, it's the millennials that are being affected mostly. Millennials are the ones who are looking to purchase houses where, interest rates, everyday life is specifically affecting them, I think, the most. Trying to qualify for a house in these markets where house prices are still exorbitant and your payments are higher, even worse if your mortgage is coming for renewal and now the interest rate is so much higher than it was. Well, will most people be able to afford this? So we've created this situation now, or not us, they've created this situation now where we've been so addicted to borrowing cheap money that is this going to be sustainable moving forward? Technological advancements are also playing a key role in this major shift, guys. Before, we got to remember, we weren't using cryptocurrency. We weren't using DLT technology. So I know it doesn't sound connected, but it is going to affect overall markets, the way we spend, the way we save, how money moves, how quickly it moves now, guys. And is it a coincidence that David Andolfatto from the U.S. Federal Reserve, I believe he's from the St. Louis Federal Reserve branch, said that the Fed could delegate settlement to a third party? And yeah, he said it, guys. Listen to David Andolfatto from this interview here.
People say, how can you trust, the Fed to do the bookkeeping? I mean, like I said, my response is, well, you don't expect the Fed to kind of steal your money. I mean, if the Fed can print all the money it wants, it's not going to mess around with your bookkeeping. So, we have this big spreadsheet, the blockchain if you want, but it's just managed by the Fed, and it's very cheap, much cheaper than Bitcoin. If you're willing to delegate the responsibility to a third party. But then the downsides to all of that, of course, is you'd actually, suppose you didn't want the Fed to be responsible for processing the payments. I mean, suppose, the Fed will likely impose some KYC restrictions on some purchases. They might not process some purchases that you might want to undertake. And so it was at that point that I said, well, we could, if we wanted to, extend the concept one step further. I'm not saying that this is ever going to happen, but just conceptually, you could imagine not FedWire for all, but kind of like a Fed coin, where what the Fed would do is actually just issue these, Bitcoin-like objects, but and they would enforce a par exchange rate with the U.S. dollar. That would eliminate the exchange rate volatility. But they could delegate the clearing of these payments to some third party, some sort of Ripple-like protocol, or possibly even Bitcoin. I mean, we could delegate the responsibility of processing these electronic, Fedcoin payments to the miners.
So David Andolfatto here saying that the Fed could, in fact, delegate settlement to a third-party payment. He uses Bitcoin as an example, but also mentions Ripple, and I think Ripple would certainly be the better choice here.
But they could delegate the clearing of these payments to some third party, some sort of Ripple-like protocol.
Possibly a Ripple-like protocol. Well, we know FedNow already has the partnership with Valente, and many Ripple partners have already registered to be part of the FedNow service. So guys, it only makes sense. Do you remember this clip from a few years ago? Jameel Kayes here bringing up the gold. This same guy, David Andolfatto, talking about Ripple in a positive context, saying we are the winners if we hold Ripple. Listen to this.
The effect of this and similar rulings serve to diminish the attractiveness of Bitcoins as currency. Does anybody use Ripple? Wow. I think you guys might be the winners, because Ripple is a currency agnostic protocol. Bitcoin wants to be the money. Ripple, they have their native currency, but they don't necessarily. Ripple is a protocol that works very similarly to Bitcoin, but it's more interested in facilitating processing payments. But it'll process U.S. dollars, euros, bitcoins. It's native currency. It's currency agnostic. And so it's quite possible that this ruling actually benefits the payments processors as opposed to the virtual currencies that really want to be competing currency.
So David Andalfado knows exactly what Ripple is about. It was no mistake that he mentions Ripple as a possible third-party delegated settlement to FedNow and the Federal Reserve. But that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.